Gear limit. Tallyhawk. Track the launch. Commander.
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday, the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Kenner Silverhawks big birds. They did make a Tallyhawk, they did make a Stronghold, and the one I don't have, but I'm still going to talk about a Sky Shadow. Now these are the attack birds, they're big birds, and I'm going to go into the features and kind of show what they do. But I've been pondering why these even existed. Aside from Kenner making more money off of the Silverhawks, why they exist, what are they really for, how are they categorized? In my opinion, we're going to talk about this and more on this Retro Wednesday coming up. All right, let's start off with Tallyhawk here. Now, I think all of these are big ones, and I think there was an episode where Tallyhawk became supersized like this, and so did the Sky Shadow. So, anyhow, I don't remember exactly. I'm not sure which episode it was, so I wouldn't be able to reference it. But here it is. I did make a perch for it, and I thought this is how I'm going to display it. Because when I get something like this, I want to display it. I don't want to just like throw it in a tub or just have it laying on the ground or something. So with that, the claws just aren't strong enough to perch. So I'm being ultra careful. But I am able to pull this off. So I have seen people like perch this on their computer monitor and stuff like that. I don't know how they get away with it. Maybe they lean the back part up against the wall or something. So there's ways to get around stuff like that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into looking at all of the features of this attack bird Tallyhawk. Okay, so the first feature this guy has is this button on the back that opens it up and shoots. Now, this is like, and you're going to see this a lot with Kenner and these birds, multi-function buttons. And if we can get it on there, his eye changes. See if I can get the angle and the light just right. So it goes from a multicolored eyeball to a red eyeball. I don't know how well that's shown up. Anyway, then it opens the mouth, and then you push it more, it shoots. So we have these missiles. Now, a complete one has 3. I only have 2. I thought 2 made it complete, but it doesn't really matter to me that much. You open it up, slide this in, and yeah, there it goes. Okay, so I'm going to test it, make sure it works, and then we're going to shoot this. We're going to push this button in the back. It opens the mouth, and then you shoot. And it's a pretty good spring. I mean, it's probably stronger than Battlestar Galactica spring that they had to take out and do a recall on. So that's kind of cool with the eye and all that. He does have blue paint right here, yellow paint right here. And then he has the next feature, which is this goes back all of the way. And then he can do like a swoop down and dive. And so when you swoop down and dive, you can open his mouth and stuff. So that's a feature. I mean, it actually is a feature because it's articulation. It moves. He can perch like that. So that's a feature. Now the next feature is the gripping claw, which I got a steel wheel over here. I should be gripping a bad guy, but he's gonna come down to rescue. All right, whatever. He's gonna rescue Steel Will if he can. There we go. And fly off with him. Bring him to safety. How about that? Yeah. Attack bird. Attack bird is a saving bird. All right, so the next feature on him, well, he does come with, I think you have to add this tail on. It's like once it's out of the box, you have to put it together. And then, let's see, we've got this. It collapses. And that's the same thing that the original smaller bird does. But you have to push the front to do it, but it's on the back. So it's a very similar type of ordeal that you've got with the smaller bird. And yeah, it's hard to get that thing all on camera. It's big. 20-inch wingspan on these, by the way. Let's open back up to reset it. And then, so there's a lot of little play features for the kids and the kiddos in this. And then I think that pretty much covers all of that. Let's get into the last play feature, which is Quicksilver. And I never really understood. I just thought it was the way they manufactured it, that there's still a hole like some sort of hole on the back of the wings, but it's so that he can clip into here and hold in. Well, theoretically. Maybe I got to get one that's got better wings, but he's supposed to clip in there and hold in. So let me grab another one and see if it works. That was a little more work than I thought to get it on there, and it probably won't hold very long, but there it is, holding on the bottom. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't know why mine is acting like it's not wanting to hold them very well, but that's what it does, and I guess you can put the legs down and all that kind of stuff too. It looks kind of cool flying around like this, having Quicksilver on the bottom, and yeah, that's another feature. I do want to point out that I think they intended for the ultrasonic Quicksilver for it to use the same feature. There's a hole in the back that should fit, but I don't want to do any more chrome wear to this that I've already done because, well, I didn't do it, but that's already been done to it. But yeah, it's supposed to go on to this too. So I figure they were like, hey, you want your ultrasonic Quicksilver to ride on this too? We'll make it work. All right, so next up we have Stronghold, and I don't care what his name is. He's not going to hold very strong to my homemade perch that I made here. But this is the attack large version of the Stronghold bird. And I also want to point out, like, this is the original bird and how it came. And the arms are, their wings are up like in flight, like it's about to fly. It's flying up and down, so whatever. But it has the same kind of gimmick. You're going to see the same kind of gimmick when we get to it. But this does look a little bit different. I think it looks a little more interesting than the smaller bird because of all the paint apps and because just because, I guess you could say. But I think he's a pretty cool looking bird. Got him for like 20 bucks. And I really think that that's still the going rate for this guy, 20 bucks. So, but anyway, we're going to get into the features and all this kind of stuff looking at him. And big attack bird, Stronghold. Let's see the features. So he has 3 features. The first feature is this head, and it's supposed to clip in, and you push this button and it pops out. And then the mouth opens. So as it closes, it's supposed to close that mouth and then the mouth pop open. So I've got some issues with the mom and take it apart and work on it. The reason I didn't do it before the video, when I realized that this is no longer clipping in place, is because I didn't want to mess up all the other gimmicks while I was, right before I do a video. So that's not a big deal to me if it never pops back in. But the second one is a dual function. As you can see, there's a lot of dual functions in here. And when you push this button, it flaps the wings. So you can be playing with it. The kid can run around, oh yeah, I'm playing with my bird flapping his wings. But it also opens this up so it can clip on the perch, or it can grab someone, like say, I'm not going to grab Quicksilver. I'm using one of my messed up looking steel wheels. And this is Steel Wheels bird. There it goes. That's what it does. So they all kind of have that feature for the most part. Well, the 2 good guy ones. And so that is what it does. That's the feature number 2. Feature number 3 is this thing back here in the back. So when you lift this up, then you can slide your figure into here without scratching the chrome, of course. And then you can fly around with him on there. So, and you know, that's kind of fun. And then let's see how it doesn't really affect the workings and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I could see kids having fun doing this with their toys back in the day, back in the 80s. But it's kind of interesting. Oddly enough, these are not very popular with collectors. In fact, the only thing people seem to care about when it comes to these big birds is getting the box to them. That's what it seems like. Like the birds are pretty cheap, but the boxes are a little harder to get. But if you're an in-package collector, these are a lot more expensive. But 20 bucks, I picked it up, said why not give it a shot and check it out. But well, I've had it for years now. But that is Stronghold, not much to them. Now we're going to quickly talk about Sky Shadow. So let me go ahead and get into that. Okay, so they did make one of these attack birds for Sky Shadow, for Monstar, and the thing about it is that it has 2 gimmicks, where the wings will collapse like you see on so many of these other ones. So it does the collapsing wing thing just like Tallyhawk. But it also has this grappling hook that comes out of its mouth, and then you push a button and it pulls back whatever's grappled in that hook. And those are the features I know of on it, and I don't have one in hand to talk about. If I ever pick one up, I might do a review on it, but at this point, I mean, I still don't see the point of doing just a review on that. But those big birds are kind of interesting. And when you look at this and you go, well, why did they make these, Mike? Well, we're going to get into that discussion because that's what's coming next. Why make these big birds for these kids back in the 80s that like Silverhawks? I think I know exactly why. Okay, so when you think about playing with your toys as a kid, your action figures, and you kind of see how Stronghold's on steel wheel, the kids can use this as sort of a role play where they could come in and they, well, it's not going to hold on their hand, but when you think about a kid's hand and arm, it would feel about the same as this on steel wheel. Maybe not exactly the same, but it is, in my opinion, a role play. So they could pretend to be Steel Wheel or Quicksilver, and then they're summoning their Sky Shadow, or they're summoning their Tallyhawk or their Stronghold. And so I view this as a role play item, and I didn't originally when I got them. When I first got this thing, I was just like, why did they make this so big? And then I saw an episode where I think they got big, I guess, and so with that, it sort of makes sense that they make it as a role-play item, kind of like a lightsaber, a helmet, a blaster. You get your Tallyhawk. And they are used as weapons, so as the wrist sort of supposed to control them and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting idea, but most collectors that collect Silverhawks don't care about these. And I understand why, because not all collectors go after vintage role-play items. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for action figures on a shelf, and it just doesn't fit. So with that, not everybody's going to be interested in this after this. So just watching a video to check it out seems to be a pretty good way to go. Alright, so that's my look at these attack birds, these giant big birds for Silverhawks, and I'm curious about what you guys think. Do any of y'all have these? Did you have these back in the day? What did you do with them back in the day? How did you integrate these into your play? And did you use them for something other than Silverhawks? It's kind of an interesting concept, and I still see why not everybody's super excited about these, but they're part of history, and it's kind of fun to have them and to check them out and to see what all they do. And now I'm off to take apart my Stronghold and see why the neck doesn't clip in. But let me know what you think in the comments below, like and subscribe, and Tiberium Hanger out.
Will gets Razor the Tomahawk.
Good work, Tallyhawk.
Whoa!
And Stronghold the Clawhawk is for me.
So